I meditated every day, and I sort of made a pact with myself that I would never, ever, 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 ever give up trying to heal myself. In 2019, I was diagnosed with an anal fissure, which is something you get in the back of your bum. And it came from a surgery I've had. The doctors told me it will be quite safe. And after the operation, they said, he gave me some tissues and said 5 days and it will be over. That did not take 5 days. So after the surgery, 14 days after, I just broke like inside and up, and I had internal hemorrhoids. It was bleeding, and it was like the pain was undescribable. It just broke my world. After a year, with pain and no solution, I asked my husband. I said to him, I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay here in this life, because this pain situation is not something I can be in the rest of my life. The doctors, they pretty much said, you're on your own. And then I started to seek other forms of treatment, acupuncture, zone therapy, something called craniosacral therapy, and lots of other sorts of therapy. And it wasn't actually until I realized that I had to sort of turn my perspective. One day my husband came home with a book from a guy called Dr. Joe, and I was like, Dispenza. I was like, what is this? And he started to read it for me in the evening. And then, yeah, I have the best husband ever.
He is very cool.
So we started to read the book, and slowly I got into the work, and I started to read about the first energy center, and I realized I had to change my perspective. When I was a child, I was sexually molested for a couple of years. I saw my mom got beaten half to death, and I saw some pretty traumatic things, and I knew that I sort of attracted the problem myself. Slowly, I started to get into the meditations, and I started forgiving. I actually sat down and I had a conversation with the guy who molested me, and I sort of saw that his problems were bigger than mine, and this had nothing to do with me, and I sort of detached from the whole thing, and also emotionally. And I was supposed to go to Marco Island in January, but then I had a positive, well, it was a false negative. No, sorry, it was a positive, yeah, you know.
You get the idea.
Anyway, I didn't have COVID, but I couldn't go because of the test. So I started to look for others on Facebook who also couldn't go to Marco Island, and I found like 30, 40 people. And we started our own group and meditated during the week with the people on Marco Island. We were sort of aligning into the group. And then
now, let me just interrupt you for a second here, because there's a really good point here. She couldn't go to Marco Island. You know what normal or natural would have done? There goes my chance to heal. I'm never going to change. She didn't say that. She said, there's got to be people that meet. I'm going to figure this out. That's not going to stop me from doing the work. I'm actually going to find people that are doing it. I'll get involved in it. I'll study. I'll learn from them. I'll figure it out. That's what a person who wants to change does.
So then I just started to go really deep into the meditations. I meditated every day, and I sort of made a pact with myself that I would never, ever give up trying to heal myself.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need another moment here. All right, so somehow forgiveness worked. What does that mean? You just overcome the emotion. When you overcome the emotion, you can take the attention off the person or the problem and see it from a greater level of consciousness. Oh, that guy's got more problems, or that person has more problems than me. I'm free. I want to go on with my life. Okay. I didn't make it to Marco Island because I had a false positive COVID test. I didn't hate the government. I didn't hate pharmaceutical companies. I didn't post online. My life is ruined because of COVID. You didn't do any of that. That's normal. That's natural. She makes a decision with such firm intention to change that the amplitude of that decision carried a level of mind, a level of energy that was greater than the hardwired programs of her disbelief and the emotional conditioning that kept her body in the past from the trauma. And the amplitude of that decision, that choice, carried a level of energy that was greater than the trauma. And her body responded to her mind, and the choice that she made became a moment in time she will never forget, and that's the moment her healing began. And you saw that was a very passionate make up your mind, yes or no? That's the exact energy it takes to heal.
I don't remember when I healed. All of a sudden, the pain just disappeared. All the bleeding disappeared, the inside, outside, everything just disappeared. And today, it's like it's all gone, and it only took a couple of months. And I have been having tinnitus for many years. That's also gone, like totally gone.
The meditation that she became very passionate about was the blessing of her energy centers, because there was trauma in those energy centers and there was physical weakening in those areas. She understood. She read the chapter. She told me she read it over and over again. She looked at the tutorial. She wanted to really break it down so that she could really move the energy finally where it needed to go. She did. She told me that backstage. What an example of truth, huh?